There's no better place for breakfast or lunch than Harbor Cove Cafe. This hidden treasure, located in the beautiful Ventura Harbor, is locally owned and operated and serves your favorites like hamburgers, sandwiches, and fish and chips, as well as island specialties like their delicious Loco Moco and famous Hawaiian burrito. Enjoy the magnificent view of Ventura's famous Two Trees and the Topa Topa Mountains while you sip on something from their full espresso bar, or perhaps tip back a cocktail mixed up by the legendary Dazu Prime. For more information, please visit online at harborcovecafe.net or give them a call at 805-658-1639. Harbor Cove Cafe, located at 1867 Spinnaker Drive in the Ventura Harbor. We'll see you there.
Rough Edge FM. Irritatingly irresistible internet radio at roughedgefm.com.
Showbiz is a cruel and shallow money trench, a long plastic hallway where thieves and pimps run free and good men die like dogs for no good reason. There's also a bad side.
This is the Backseat Mogul Show live here on Rough Edge FM. I am R. Scott Bolton. I am the Backseat Mogul, and this is a show where we talk about show business. I'm admiring myself in the camera because you can really see my beard now. Looking good. Sitting beside me as always, none other than Johnny D. Johnny, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Scotty B.
Why is your voice off? Look at that. Watch your lips move. Say something.
Hey, good morning. And it's no, it's not
Friday. We're going to talk about Godzilla shortly. It's like a Godzilla movie with Johnny over there. We've been having some trouble with our cameras. We don't know what's going on, but we'll figure it all out. So it doesn't really matter as long as you can hear us. And I hopefully you can hear us all fine. And who wants to look at Johnny D anyway?
Me? Wait, no.
Yeah. See, that's my point. So we're going to start off with Godzilla, Kong, the New Empire. My son and I went and saw it on Thursday night on the IMAX screen out in Valencia. Let's run through some things first, though, before I tell you my opinion of Godzilla Kong. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's currently sitting at 55%. Not a good rating. That's according to Rotten Tomatoes. That means it's rotten. That means they don't like it. They're not recommending it. Here's the funny thing, though, Johnny. Take a look at that audience score.
Wow.
92% of the audience is coming through. I will tell you what this is about. The critics are looking for a story. They're looking for human emotion. They're looking for depth. The audience is looking for Godzilla and Kong to smash stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Typical Godzilla movie is what? It's 10 minutes of monster action and 90 minutes of human boring stuff, right?
Yeah.
Typically. I mean, there's exceptions. The last Godzilla movie, Godzilla -1, is a completely different movie. But you go for the smashing. Godzilla Kong, the New Empire, fixes that because it's 10 minutes of human nonsense and 90 minutes of monster smashing stuff. And I will tell you that Josh and I in the Valencia IMAX theater sat there with giant grins across our face the entire running time of this movie, which is 1 hour and 55 minutes, almost 2 hours, having an absolute ball. It is the most fun I've had at the movies in a long, long time. Yeah, it's dumb. Yeah, it's silly. I don't care. It's Godzilla smashing stuff. It's Godzilla on the beach in Rio de Janeiro. It's Godzilla sucking radiation from a nuclear reactor. It's Godzilla fighting a radioactive monster to suck his radioactivity into him. It's Kong finding an unruly little Kong boy who he has to raise as his own and shows him that there's a nice side. It's an evil villain who's just a skanky old orangutan kind of guy. He's not an orangutan. I thought he was, but he's not. Who's just this ultimate villain who thinks he's going to beat Godzilla. That ain't going to happen. It was one of the most fun times I've had in the movies in ages, and I can't wait to go back and see it again. So I'm not with the 55%. I'm with the 92%. And the other thing that's proving it, they thought this movie would open between $40 and $45 million this weekend. Now it looks like it's going to be closer to $75 million. Nice. People are looking for this kind of movie. And here's the best part of it all. It only cost $135 million to make, which is relatively cheap for a blockbuster like this. It's going to make its money back fast, which guarantees another outing with Godzilla. So Adam Wingard, who's the director, nice work, my friend. You got it. You understand what Godzilla is all about. And if anybody's wondering, because is there a fight scene between Adam Wingard? I don't know if I said his name right or not. Is there a fight scene between Godzilla and Kong? Because, Godzilla don't get along with other kaiju. He puts up with them, but he doesn't, he puts up with Kong. He just kills all the rest of them. But is there a fight scene between Kong and Godzilla?
There's got to be.
Yeah. And who wins?
Neither.
There's only one winner. Godzilla wins. But somebody else comes to save the day. And if you haven't seen the trailers and stuff, it's a bit of a surprise. We knew it was coming because we'd been following this like crazy. And I'll just tell you. So if you don't want to know who comes to save the day, turn off your mic for 5 seconds.
Spoiler alert.
It's Mothra. Of course it is. Really? She's queen of the monsters. It was awesome. I cannot tell you enough of how much fun I had. I may go back. Devin's going to see it in D-Box today. I might go see that movie in D-Box because can you imagine rocking and shaking what Godzilla's destroying stuff?
Where is D-Box at?
It's they have it at the collection.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like a roller coaster. You sit there in the chairs and they rock.
Oh, sweet.
I understand that from one of the actors in the film, his review of the movie was, it's like going to a Kiss concert. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. It's loud and in your face and silly. But he says that if you're in the D-Box seats, that when Kong snorts, they spray water in your face. I don't know if that's true or not. That's what I heard. Anyway, I cannot tell you enough good things about Godzilla Kong. There's one fight scene. A lot of people are saying, well, it's just monster battles. And yeah, that's okay. That's what I'm signed up for. There's one scene where they're fighting in anti-gravity. There's zero gravity. And they're just take my money. Just take my money. It was so much fun. So don't listen to the critics, except for the ones that are right, the ones that like it. Those who are looking for more from a Godzilla movie, go watch Godzilla -1. Godzilla -1. Yeah, it's a better movie. It's one of the best Godzilla movies in the series. This one is the best of the MonsterVerse series.
And this is coming from a man who used to do religiously movie reviews. You were a regular...
I still am a regular movie critic,
I mean,
but my point is that I love Godzilla movies. I like silly movies. I like big splashy action movies. And, sometimes they're too stupid. Fast and Furious. Are your ears burning? But most of the time I like it. I mean, Godzilla in this movie leaps from a mountain and dives into the ocean. Take some more money. I just loved it. I thought it was a blast. And like I said, looking at a $75 million weekend, and it's just killing it. It's killing it. Now, the bad news is, because Godzilla's doing so well, which I am so thrilled about, but another movie that Johnny and I went and saw on Monday got kind of beat up this weekend. The big guy took down Ghostbusters, and that was to be expected. Next weekend something's probably going to take down Godzilla a notch. But Ghostbusters also did not get very good reviews. Let me see if I can pull that up. I think it got worse reviews than Godzilla did. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is sitting at 44%. Now, Johnny, on a scale of 1 to 100, what would you give Ghostbusters Frozen Empire?
On a percentage?
Yeah.
I enjoyed the movie a lot, so I'm going to go with about a 92%.
See, I'm kind of real close to you on that, because if once again, look at the numbers here. The critics' reviews for Ghostbusters is 44%. The audience, 84%. 84% is a number I could live with, because it's a Ghostbusters movie. Yeah, a lot of people say it's the same exact story as the first movie. It's very close. It has to be. There's a theme that has to be followed there. It's got the cast. I mean, you got the old cast with Bill Murray, Ernie Hudson, and Dan Aykroyd, right? They're all back. Annie Potts, also back. And then you got the new cast, which is Paul Rudd. And there's one particular person I want to mention, and I'll get to that in just a second. Paul Rudd. I'm trying to find the cast here. Here we go. Carrie Coon, Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things, and McKenna Grace. And also Camille Nanjiani and Patton Oswalt. Also, Camille almost steals the movie, playing the Fire Master. But he doesn't steal the movie, and I'll tell you because of why. McKenna Grace, she steals the movie. She plays Spengler's granddaughter. Spengler has passed away, and she's taken over for him. She's a scientist. She is the heart of the new Ghostbusters movie. She delivers a performance that gives that movie basically all of its emotion. Don't you agree?
Oh yeah, she was fantastic.
It's a Ghostbuster movie, and you have this performance in it. It was amazing. And I realized this when I watched the previous movie, Ghostbusters Afterlife, which I didn't like as well because it wasn't as humorous. At least Frozen Empire's got some humor in it. But McKenna Grace in that movie and in this one, she just gives it soul. And I've seen her work before, but I'm not familiar with her, but I'll follow her from now on because she is that good in Ghostbusters. So high points to her. I would recommend Ghostbusters. I would recommend it on a big screen. We went to a small screen and saw it. But the sound there was awesome. The sound quality in that little theater was incredible. It's not IMAX, and I'm not sure but do you think that movie is okay not being seen on an IMAX screen?
If I had my druthers, I think I would like to see it in IMAX.
No, I don't disagree, but it's not as urgent as Godzilla or Mad Max would be.
True.
On the
yes,
IMAX
on the
screen.
big screen, yes. Whether does it have to be in an IMAX or what you said, D-Box? I think a regular big screen would be good enough. And when I say big screen, I don't mean your 70-inch TV. I'm talking about a giant big screen.
Both of these movies much better in a theater. There's no question. And I think that's why people are going to see them. Ghostbusters did well its opening weekend. It didn't do Godzilla Kong well, because I guarantee you the studio is celebrating Godzilla Kong this weekend. But it did very well, Does it mean there'll be another Ghostbusters movie? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
I think so. There probably will be.
The sad thing about both of those last two Ghostbuster movies is the first one was dedicated to Harold Ramis, who passed away. And the new one was dedicated to Ivan Reitman, who passed away. Let's not hope for any more dedications.
All right.
Let's just get these movies made. And whatever you do, McKenna Grace needs to be part of it because she rocks. She was just, I'm that impressed with it. I'm talking about it like this because she was so good in that movie. It was just wonderful. So anyway, did you have anything else you want to say about Ghostbusters?
Yes, there was another actor who reprised his role from the original Ghostbusters, and that was William Atherton.
That's right. Played the bad guy in the original, played the bad guy here again. Gets his butt handed to him again.
But this time he's the mayor of New York City.
What was he before?
Before, I want to say he was like a newspaper person or maybe a commissioner or something like that. He was not the mayor. And he kept wanting to get the Ghostbusters thrown in jail.
Yes.
Disbanded.
Yeah.
Dismantled.
He still wants that after all these years. What a wiener.
And I got to tell you, I've seen William Atherton in other things. I can't recall what they were, but he's got one of those faces you go, oh, I've seen this guy before many times. He's a character actor, I guess, is how it would be classified.
Yeah, I think so.
But he plays that role perfect.
He's the kind of guy when you're looking for a bad guy, it's like Atherton. Yeah, that might work.
And not just a bad guy, but and if you'll pardon what I'm fixing to say, because he's an ass, and he does it well.
Yes, he plays an ass well. It's kind of funny to say. In other movie news, we had some sad news this year. This week, Louis Gossett Jr. passed away.
Oh, I heard that in the oh no.
He was 87 years old. He was won an Oscar for An Officer and a Gentleman. He did so many movies. It's hard to tell which ones were the best that he did, but there were tons of them. The ones we talked about yesterday on the Friday Shot Day show were Iron Eagle. Both Dr. Shocker and Julie loved Iron Eagle. My favorite was probably Enemy Mine with Dennis Quaid, where they played it was a remake of an old World War II movie. And they were one of them was an alien, Lou Gossett Jr. And the other was Dennis Quaid, who was just a human soldier. And they were the last people on an island at war. Great movie. Have you seen that, Enemy Mine?
Oh yeah. I can't remember what was supposed to be on a planet or an asteroid or something like that. But one thing if I remember correctly, this really stood out. They showed a Pepsi. I can't remember if it was a Pepsi can or a Pepsi bottle. It was a different shape. It had it
was a bag, wasn't it? Wasn't
no,
it like something like these?
No, it was
it was an actual can.
It was either a can or a bottle, but it was the shape of the can or bottle, and it was product placement big time.
Yeah.
And that stuck out. It's like,
oh,
I wonder if we're going to start seeing those on the shelves. No, we did not. But for some reason, that stood out to me.
What's interesting is that Louis Gossett Jr. always so prolific, always so busy. Look at he has 12 projects in various stages of production. He's one of the voices in If, the new John Krasinski, Ryan Reynolds movie.
Looking forward to that.
He is post-production for Soul to Keep, in production for Awaken the Reaper. That's kind of sad. Pre-production on Capture the Flag, development for Redemption, post-production for Sin, pre-production on Scorched Earth, in production for Unplugged, in development for Everbrook, pre-production for Elephants in the Room, pre-production on Forget to Remember, and pre-production for On Smoother Dirt. That's a busy man.
Yes.
Now, unfortunately, some of those projects he's just going to get thrown out of because they're pre-production or in development, and they'll have to replace them, obviously.
So
but
apparently they haven't, if it's pre-production, my understanding is nothing is in the can yet.
right, they're still, and same within development. They're just getting things ready.
But the stuff that he has done work on that is still ongoing, it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with that. If
they always do. There's
recast.
always a a plan, especially with, and then it's hard to say, but it's true with especially of actors of that age. There's been a lot of projects that didn't get done because they couldn't insure an actor of that age, and they had to find somebody else. It looks like the last thing they actually did so far was Kingdom Business, which was a TV series. He was also in the new Color Purple musical. He played Old Mister in that as well. So yeah, Louis Gossett Jr. is going to be a hard one to fill, man. That guy was a legend.
Wasn't he in the original Color Purple?
I don't know.
I was thinking he was.
I'll have to go way back. What year was Color Purple?
Oh gosh,
78,
back in the
82,
80s, I think, early 80s.
Yeah. See, the problem is he's done hundreds.
Oh, and he did.
Hundreds
I
of
think there
movies.
was 4 or 5 Iron Eagle movies, and he was in each one of them.
The Punisher, Iron Eagle 2, King Cobra, Iron Eagle Never Say Die, Firewalker was one that people mentioned. My favorite, Enemy Mine, Officer and a Gentleman, of course. Does not look like he was in the original Color Purple.
Because I don't remember when.
Choir Boys. That's a. If you get a chance to see Choir Boys, don't tell Joseph Wamba, who wrote the book, that you watched it, but it's a raunchy, funny comedy. I'm sorry, it is.
Oh, I'm thinking of Roots, not the Color Purple.
That's a different movie. Yeah, he definitely was in Roots. Yes,
and that was 77.
Yeah. So anyway, a big loss there, and a legend in his own right. It was he was just amazing. So I'm sorry to see him go. But we all do. He's 87. He'd been ill in later life, but he made it that far and did good. So
when I first heard that he had passed away, obviously I heard it on the radio, and my mind went back to, do you remember that book I read and got you and James to read it? Thought it would make a great movie.
That was it wasn't Iron Eagle, was it?
No, it was Gray Eagles.
Gray Eagles, yes.
And when I heard that Louis Gossett Jr. had passed away, like I said, my mind went back to that because I thought he would have made he would have been one of the characters in that movie, one of the American pilots.
He would have. I'd have used that.
And I can see him. I can picture him piloting a P-51.
Yeah. No, he would have been perfect for that. I would have signed him up for that too. Like I said, he will be sorely missed. In other news, we have Scream 7, and it looks like Courtney Cox is in talks to rejoin that. So we might be seeing some some Courtney Cox in upcoming Scream movies. Have you seen the Scream movies? You're not a horror fan, really.
Not really. Well, I am to a point, but some no, they're too ridiculous for me. Now, did you say Scream 7?
I think so. That's what I just looked up. So it's gone now, but I think I said 7.
That's a lot of movies.
Yeah, well, they're big hits. There's no question about that. My son and his girlfriend love the Scream series, so they're still going for them well. Last week we talked about we talked about Aaron Taylor Johnson, who have rumors said he had been offered the role of James Bond. When somebody asked him about it, he says, I can only talk about the movie that I'm doing now. I won't talk about future movies. So we don't know. Maybe they're negotiating. Maybe maybe it's not true. Dan Stevens is another actor who's been considered for the role. He got rave reviews for the new Kong movie. In fact, he's the only human actor who really did. But he said he would be more interested in playing the villain than James Bond. And I was thinking, you know what? What if they hired Aaron Taylor Johnson to be Bond and Dan Stevens to be the villain? That might be pretty cool. That might be pretty cool. So, but we don't know. I mean, it's interesting to me that this announcement is made that Aaron Taylor Johnson has been offered the James Bond role, and then you haven't heard anything else.
Do you think?
Because it was just rumors, So did that really happen? I don't know.
Do you think that when my mind, his name just escaped me.
Of course it did.
The guy that created James Bond,
Ian Fleming.
Ian Fleming, thank you. Do you think that when his very first book that he wrote on James Bond, do you think he had any inclination of how far Bond would go, the different movies?
I don't think he had a clue. He was a veteran of World War II, did some amazing things. Read his autobiography or biography. I'm not sure it's autobiography. To find out what he did in World War II. He had some amazing ideas. There was a movie I wanted to make. The title was Fleming's Floozies. Somebody will probably steal it now, because he wanted to take a team of hookers, and maybe he actually did this, take a team of hookers, make sure that they were fluent in German, fly them into Germany, have them seduce Nazi officers and get secrets from them and return. I thought that's a movie in itself.
Yeah.
Fleming's Floozies was my title, but that was one of his ideas. Some of his ideas he actually used in World War II.
Wasn't there it was either a mini series, a regular series, or maybe it was a movie, a TV movie.
Yeah. About his life.
Ian Fleming.
Yes. There was, I think, a couple of them. There's a couple biographies too, But anyway, he was a very interesting guy. I don't think he wrote expecting to be anything as successful as he was. And sadly, he died before he could see what the James Bond franchise became. He had an idea and he got himself in trouble with on Her Majesty's Secret Service, but lost the plagiarism suit. But I don't think he had ever saw what the series would eventually become. He died in like 64, 65. So he didn't see the but imagine, you create a character that is going to keep your family fed and in wealth for the rest of their lives, probably forever. The James Bond will feed the Fleming family forever. What an amazing thing that would be, and I don't think he ever realized it was going to go to that level.
I got to tell you, I have read some of the books. I've seen all the movies. And I understand what you're saying about creating a character that feeds your family and probably their families and their families.
Yeah.
Well, there is a series of books out right now, and you can find them on Amazon.com, written by R. Scott Bolton.
They feed my family for one meal.
Yeah. He's got at least 3 or 4 ongoing characters. The most current book that is out is called Death and the Mogul.
That's Brace Heller, private detective.
Now, the Brace Heller, it's a series of how many books now?
4. 5th on the way.
And those alone would feed umpteen dozen R. Scott Bolton families.
Yeah, if you took the pages out, flavored it with some kind of cheese sauce like Velveeta, some sauce maybe, and ate them, because they sure ain't making me any money.
Go to Amazon.com, look up R. Scott Bolton books, and you will find, and my favorite word, a plethora of
Nobody
books.
knows what plethora is.
There's the H.B. Fisk series, the Brace Heller series. There's the
Richard Keene series.
Richard Keene series. My favorite of all R. Scott Bolton's books is
You can call me Scott.
Scotty. No,
Don't
Scotty.
call me Scotty. Oh no, Scotty's okay. I hate Scooter. People
Whoever
call me
called you
Scooter.
Scooter?
I'm like, don't call me Scooter. Scotty is okay because Star Trek.
Yes, but and he beams. Okay, my favorite is Dead Dick. It's a supernatural fantasy.
I don't know how you describe it.
It's good.
Action, adventure, fantasy, detective story.
It's
action. Yeah, I don't know.
it's really really good. But check out all of R. Scott Bolton books.
I'm really leaning on my November novel writing. Might be Dick Dead Again. It very well might be.
Oh,
I got a story in mind. It might work, might not work, but it might happen. Richard Keene may return.
well, I have
Dick Dead Again.
I was fortunate enough to proofread. I have been fortunate enough to proofread all of
Most of them.
R. Scott Bolton's books.
Yeah.
You know how I keep saying R. Scott Bolton?
Yeah. So people know how to Google it.
Yeah, I want to
Smart.
get that name right. And that's the letter R and then Scott. S-C-O-T-T.
You forgot the period.
Oh, yeah. Letter R, period. S-C-O-T-T for Scott. And then Bolton is B-O-L-T-O-N. Do not put down Bolton because it's going to bring up all those Boltons. You want R. Scott Bolton books.
Not R. Scott Baker. That's another guy out there. But that's Seinfeld down again. I got to get some super glue.
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld.
Did he? Oh,
Yeah.
Seinfeld. Oh, I was going to say Seinfeld walked in.
That makes me mad.
Uh,
I have to get some.
But
super
listen,
stuff.
if you've got Amazon Prime, you're going to get free delivery on these books. So listen, go at the end of the show.
John obviously wants you to listen.
Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, you can listen to us
Open a tab,
and
go to Amazon, and buy the books.
Yes.
I'm going to have 2 more books out before the end of the year that are going to be Kindle only. They're going to be novellas that I'm writing. One is a Western horror, and the other is just a straight out horror. So those will be available too. But the big one, the November one, I think is going to be
That'll be nice.
Dick Dead Again.
Ever since I finished reading Dead Dick, I was so disappointed that I got to the end because I wanted more. I was so engrossed into this book. I wanted more. As they say in some movie I saw many, many years ago, might I have more? That was an English thing. And
You might want to leave that part out from now on.
Yeah,
You
okay.
always bring that up and you don't know what it's from. And I don't think you're saying it right.
Oh, well,
I think it's
okay.
Marty.
Might I have Marty?
No, the movie is Marty.
No. This was a it's a turn of the century English. It's in an orphanage where the kid walks
think
up.
that's
says,
Marty.
That's not the name of the. Is it?
Yeah, maybe not.
Oh. Anyway, R. Scott Bolton books, and like I said, after I finished reading Dead Dick, I had 2 ideas. One, oh please, let's do it.
There's that little boy.
One. And yep, that's the kid.
But we don't know what movie.
But anyway, and then I said, "Oh, Scotty, how about a book that shows how Richard Keene became dead?"
Well, that's already been shown.
No. I mean, the whole book is that way.
You want me to do a prequel?
And that's the word I was
That's
looking
what
for.
you said.
Yes.
I don't know where that quote is from. I found the picture of the little kid, but I cannot.
Maybe it's from a.
It's not. You want to say it's from a Pink Floyd album, but it's
yes.
not. It's not. Why would that little boy be in it if it was a Pink Floyd album?
Well, no, maybe it's We Hear It. Might I have more?
Movie.
Please, sir. Might I have more?
Let's try that. There it is. Oliver. from 1968.
Well, you're close. You said Marty.
Yeah.
It's his Oliver's cousin.
Here we go. Listen, folks. Damn, that's violent.
Yeah.
That's child abuse, man.
And I did have the quote wrong. It's please.
So did everybody else because that's what they're all talking about.
Please, sir, I want some more.
I want some more. That was 5 minutes well spent.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Anyway, Amazon.com, R. Scott Bolton books. Get them today.
We talked last week about the new movie Roadhouse. Both Johnny and I liked it a lot. It's ridiculous. It's bad, but it's fun to watch. There was a lot of controversy because Amazon decided to stream it directly and not go to theaters. I thought that was a bad idea. John thought that was a bad idea. The director, Doug Liman, thought that was a bad idea. I think it would have had some juice if they'd released it in theaters. Well, it definitely has juice on Amazon. According to ScreenRant.com, the Roadhouse remake streaming success trumps all, securing the top spot with 2.3 million household views in just 3 days. And I can vouch to this to a certain degree because I talked about this on KVTA on Thursday morning. And of the 4 people that do the show, 3 of us had seen it. That doesn't usually happen. Most of the time, I'm the only one who's seen the movie or they've seen something else. But 3 out of the 4 of us had seen Roadhouse. So a lot of people are watching Roadhouse. Now, here's the question. How does that help? Does that help Amazon get subscribers? It should. But if it would have made $50 million in an opening weekend, would that have been better? I don't know the answer to that. I'm not a business guy. I don't know how, especially when it comes to streaming. But it's a huge hit. 2.3 million people in 3 days makes it a monster hit. And again, I thought it was a lot of fun, especially Conor McGregor, who was just off his rocker on it completely.
Oh, he was. You got to see this movie. Anything I say, I have to say spoiler alert because it's the whole movie is spoiler alert if you talk about it before you've seen it.
Let's see if I can find it. There's a perfect picture of Conor McGregor from Roadhouse. I'll put this up here for you folks. Conor, I hope this works. Because if you haven't seen the movie and you're okay with cartoon characters.
Did you like that?
It was disgusting.
Thank you.
You got to see Conor McGregor. And again, I don't know if that he's a good actor or if he just lucked out and this is the only role he'll ever be able to play. But this is Conor and that. Look at that.
Is that him or is that Jake?
Really, John?
I can't tell by the face.
You can't tell by the tattoos?
Oh, I thought that was blood.
Yeah,
I see the tattoos.
Yes.
Well, wait a minute. I thought Jake Gyllenhaal. Up close.
He didn't have anything on his stomach.
I thought that was dirt and blood.
No, those are tattoos all over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That guy was a madman in the Roadhouse remake. And again, I don't know. I know that somebody told me he's already got other roles in mind. If he can deliver that wild of a performance from now on, I'll go see him. I'll go watch it. I don't even like the guy. He's kind of a jerk. And I know he'd beat my ass if he heard me say that. But I got to give him credit for what he did there.
His character, yes, he was a bad person in a comedic way.
Like in a cartoon character way.
Exactly.
He was like Yosemite Sam, or Julie said it better, the Tasmanian Devil. He was just nuts. So Star Trek Discovery starts its 5th, I think, and last season.
Yeah, which surprised me that they're ending unless they got another one in the works.
They do.
Oh, okay.
They do. But that's not the point. The point is that I hope, and I don't know their reason for them stopping. It's not because it's not being watched, because it's a huge hit. Producers need to realize these days that when you get to a point, you don't have any more stories to tell. It's time to end it. And I like when stories do that. I like when stories don't go on past their prime, you know. The one I always go to is Starsky and Hutch. When they were hunting down devil worshippers, I knew that show was done. When they did the shark jump in Happy Days, you knew that show was done. I was watching something here recently, and one of my favorite shows for a while, The Neighborhood. Now they're just throwing this ridiculous dialogue back and forth. I think it's done. And I love The Neighborhood. I thought it was one of my favorite shows, but it just doesn't have the steam that it used to. It's better to end on your own terms. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what Star Trek Discovery is doing. It's ending in its own terms. Plus, they have the new Section 31 series of Star Trek Section 31, starring Michelle Yeoh. And hopefully they're going to get David Cronenberg back in there too, because he's amazing on Star Trek. And it's where they go and they explore unexplainable things. It's almost like X-Files meets Star Trek. Sign me up. So hopefully that's what we're going to be seeing more of on Star Trek. But that's next week. And I got 2 episodes of the last season of Discovery to watch. So I'm very much looking forward to it. Now, they also tell us that, and this is just a rumor, that the new Star Trek Discovery series has something major to do with Star Trek The Next Generation. So I don't know what that means, but there's some connection there somewhere. So we'll see what that is.
Okay. Now, Section 31, is that supposed to take place before Next Generation or after Next Generation?
Michelle Yeoh is, wait a minute, you're confusing things. Star Trek Discovery's last season is tied into Star Trek The Next Generation. So it takes place thousands of years in the future.
Oh, okay.
Because remember, have you watched any of Discovery?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so they jump forward hundreds of years, if not thousands of years into the future. So everything's behind them. Section 31 is in the Michelle Yeoh universe, which is, I think, before they traveled into the future.
Is that going to be her good character as the Star Trek captain?
Yes.
Or is it supposed to be the evil character?
I think they killed off the evil character. I'm not sure about that.
Because
but
they did kill off the good character.
But then who knows then? Maybe she comes back because of Section 31. Why are you asking me? Do I look like a writer in the series?
I'm hoping they bring Data back.
I don't know that,
because he's a robot.
I know. No, he also died.
He can be.
That's not what they said. But you're right. It's science fiction. They can do anything.
Maybe it's going to be his evil brother, who's not so evil anymore.
What was his name?
Lore.
That's right.
Or maybe they're bringing Q back.
Q's already back. Do you not pay any attention to anything?
No, that's on Picard.
Yeah. So,
but I really liked Q, the character Q. But then again, all those from the Q-verse, get it? Q-verse, were all called Q. You remember that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I love what Picard said when he first found Q again in the new series. I won't say it in the show because it's a family show, but it was pretty damn funny. Anyway,
you know what I'm looking forward to?
Jaws Revenge.
Yes.
A lot of people said, "Oh yeah, Lou Gossett was in Jaws 3." Don't tell people that. They don't honor his loss. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm going to be house sitting for some dear friends of mine coming up pretty soon. And
not if you talk like that.
Oh,
freak.
I'm going to binge watch a lot of stuff that I don't get to
enjoy
watch.
It. Yeah, there's a ton of it there.
Which means the 2 puppies are going to binge watch with me.
They don't watch, they sleep.
Well, okay.
I Googled it. It's funny. Here we go. This is the pet lovers section of the Backseat Mogul show. It says that pugs sleep between 12 and 18 hours a day. And Yorkies sleep between 10 to 12 hours a day. That's about right. Because Zoe wakes up, she's the pug. She wakes up to eat her breakfast, and then she sleeps on the couch all day unless somebody walks by, and then she tries to kill them. And the Yorkie is standing around most of the time looking at her going, "Why are you sleeping? I'm still up." It's weird. It's just weird stuff. What else we got to talk about? Anything else, Johnny? What else is on your...
What you watching on TV?
I watched a lot of movies this week is what I did. So, but I'm still watching Equalizer, even though it gets sillier and sillier every episode. But Queen Latifah is good in that. We watched Palm Royale, which is with the cast Allison Janney, Kristen Wiig, Carol Burnett. How can it fail?
I was right, because I haven't seen any of that, but I've seen trailers, and that one of the scenes that I showed in a trailer shows an elderly lady. When I say elderly, I don't want to say not old.
You can say Carol Burnett is elderly.
And I'm going, that looks like Carol Burnett. Well, son of a gun, it was.
Yes. The problem with the show is that it's dull. There's no real humor in it. It's Kristen Wiig plays a woman who's trying to get in with the rich and famous of Palm Royale, Florida. And so she's trying all these stupid tricks, and she's so desperate to become part of their society. It's just dull. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Maybe there's some major twist coming. I'm only like 4 episodes in, but again, I'm 4 episodes in. You think something would have happened. So far, pretty disappointing. And I'm sad about that because, again, those 3 names alone, and there's other names that are Ricky Martin is terrific in it. Doesn't matter. It's just not working. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But anyway,
well, we've seen movies that great, fantastic cast, only for the movie to be a piece of you know what.
Caca.
And you know which one I'm referring to.
Of course, Body of Evidence. John,
yes.
It's the one. There's been so many though.
It had a great cast, but
awful. You know what? I was going to tape that the other day, and I had to stop recording it because one of my shows came on. I'd rather record that show, but I want to watch it again. Mm-hmm. I want to see if Body of Evidence is as bad as I thought it was. I always thought that Steven Spielberg's worst movie was
Jaws Revenge.
It wasn't Steven Spielberg. What was that movie? Let me find it. Amistad. I hated Amistad when I first saw it in theaters. It was on again a couple years ago, and I watched it again. And okay, it's not as bad as I thought. It's actually pretty good. There's some maudlin stuff in it, and there's one scene where a lawyer back in the Civil War days pumps his fist. Yes. It doesn't seem like that works, but it was better than I thought.
Was Matthew McConaughey in that?
Yeah. Anthony Hopkins.
I knew a guy that he worked on that movie. As a matter of fact, he was one of my neighbors when I lived in Simi Valley, and I always wanted to go see it, but I don't know, I just never had the opportunity to see it. I think
McConaughey is the one who pumps his fist. It's like, it just doesn't fit the movie. But it's better than I thought. I mean, if somebody had asked me what Steven Spielberg's worst movie was, I don't know what I'd say now because I love most of his movies a lot. But it's not horrible like I thought it was. It was better than I thought it was. And it's 72% of the people like it on Google. And it's got a 78% Rotten Tomatoes score with a Metacritic of 64%. So that's about where I'd sit with it. You know,
what would you say is Steven Spielberg's directed best?
Jaws. Don't waste my time.
Okay. Well, we know that's your favorite.
That being said, if we're focusing on the direction, it still goes to Jaws, but you would also have to go with Schindler's List or Saving Private Ryan.
Great movies, all of them. But one of my favorites, there's only one person that had dialogue. And that movie is Duel.
That's not entirely true about one person having dialogue, but Duel is the classic.
I thought that was only Dennis Weaver's character.
No, he interacts with people on the road and stuff like that.
Oh, anyway,
he doesn't interact with a big truck trying to run him over.
That's true. Okay, that's a movie. I got a receipt.
You know what? I failed you all, and I apologize for that. A few months ago, I said on the show that there are 2 versions of Duel. One of them is the American version back when we had square little screens. Mm-hmm. And one of them is the widescreen version that was released theatrically in Europe. And the rumor that I'd heard was that there are scenes, because they didn't expect it to be shown in widescreen, where the widescreen scenes that something's going on and Spielberg standing on the side of the road watching. Now but I was able to find that version and I bought it. So I will watch that soon, probably this coming weekend, because my wife's going to be out of town and I'll have plenty of movie watching time. Plenty of movie watching time. I'm going to try to watch 3 movies a day if I can. And I'm going to watch that one again, and I'm going to watch the widescreen version, and I will report to all of you whether or not that rumor is actually true.
Wasn't there in the first Star Trek movie, wasn't there? You could see they were in such a rush to get this movie out, from what I remember, that you see crew people, behind the scenes people that, okay, that person shouldn't be there. Uncompleted sets.
You know, I got to tell you, I've seen that movie a dozen times and I don't remember any of that. And they just recently re-released the director's cut of that. I think it was on Amazon, which, oh my God, it was gorgeous. It was beautiful, recut. So it's not nearly as tedious as it was before. It was a much better movie. But they could have hidden that at that point. But I've seen it a dozen times and 3 or 4 times in theaters. So I don't remember that. Might be a good rumor, but I don't know that that's true.
I'm watching Wild Cards. It's a TV series, and it's about a demoted detective, Ellis, who has unfortunately spent the last year on the maritime unit, and he gets paired up with a con artist named Max, who the commissioner, the police commissioner, wants these two to team up and solve cases. And it's a way for her to, the con artist, a way for her to get her sentence, or not her sentence, but get charges deleted. And for Ellis, for him to get back his detective seat.
Now, is this a American TV series or?
It's shot in Canada, but I don't know if it's supposed to be an American city or if it's Canadian.
But what one thing more about the production is the production. If it's, I guess it's a Canadian production, not necessarily. A lot of American productions take place in Canada, so I don't know.
That's true.
All right. So anyway, folks, let me pull up these screens here for you. Give me a second, and we'll see which. I don't think any of these are actually the one you're talking about. All right, Johnny. So you said it's called Wildcats.
Wild Cards, as in playing cards.
That changes everything dramatically, folks. There it is. All right, so I'm going to pull up this image for you, and then Johnny can keep talking about it.
I am like, how many episodes am I into? I think I'm into so far 9 or 10 episodes. And I really like the camaraderie between the two main characters.
Is that it?
I enjoy the show. Yes. No. Is it?
No.
I can't. No, that's Wildcats. Wild Cards. It's modern day policing, and it's got drama, it's got comedy, and I think you'll like it. I like it, and if I like it, that means it's not going to go very far.
There it is, Wild Cards.
There it is.
And let's find out what the production date is. IMDb.com. Because it looks to me like it's a Canadian or Australian production. I'm leaning towards Canada, since you said it was shot in Canada. There we go.
And they don't have Canadian or Australian accents. Although in one episode, there are some surfers from Australia.
Vanessa Morgan, Giacomo Giannotti, Terry Chen, Michael Xavier are the stars.
Jason Priestley.
Only watched it because of Vanessa Morgan. The TV is pretty good. The first episode had a very great twist at the end. If Vanessa Morgan wasn't in it, then I wouldn't have given it a chance. The guy likes it because she's eye candy. Way to go, dude. Yeah, there's Jason Priestley's name listed there. I don't know where the production's at, but I don't pay for IMDb Prime either. Oh, it's
on CW. I'm sorry, it's on CW.
So that tells you a little bit about it, and it's a brand new series, so 2024. Might be worth checking out. A spirited con woman and a demoted by the book detective are given the chance to redeem themselves. The catch, they have to find a way to work together, each using their unique skills to solve crimes. Sounds a lot like the Amazon version of Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah, but Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I've seen a couple of episodes. really wasn't too thrilled about it.
Nah, it's kind of dull.
Yeah, definitely was not like the movie, Mr. and Mrs.
No,
Smith.
they've changed everything. They're not a married couple. They're playing a married couple. They're FBI agents who are playing. It was kind of.
I don't think they're FBI agents.
But they're some kind of agents.
Yeah,
but doesn't matter. They're
because in the very first episode, they're supposed to get this box and take it to an address and leave. Well, that box turned out to be a bomb. So I don't think they're FBI.
Well, I don't think
agents.
that's. Yeah, because the FBI never does that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, CIA does.
Yeah. Let's see what it says here. They are two strangers land jobs with a spy agency, so probably CIA, that offers them a life of espionage, wealth, and travel to catch new identities and arrange a marriage, and they must be dull at all times. Oh, I didn't say that part, but I was saddened by that one. I didn't care for it much. All right, folks, that's it for today's show. We run a little late just because we started a little late, but that's all there is. I can tell you this: go see Godzilla Kong if you like a big, loud, flashy, awesome, full color, ear crushing motion pictures. That's the one for you. It's doing very well out there at the box office right now. Johnny and I both recommend Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. Isn't it interesting that Godzilla's got the new Empire and Ghostbusters have the Frozen Empire?
Ooh, imagine those two merging.
No.
Okay.
So we both recommend those. Johnny recommends Wild Cards. I can't recommend Palm Royale. I wish I could, but I just can't.
Wasn't there another TV series that had to do with a concierge doctor who caters to people in Palm Beach or something like that?
Of course there is. There's dozens.
And I thought it had something to do with Royal.
You make the mistake of saying because something's just like something else because it takes place in the same place. It's different. You do that a lot though.
Well, I know that.
I know. But I don't know. I don't remember it, and I probably won't remember this in 5 years.
It wasn't that great of a series anyway. Well, in my opinion. What I wanted to tell you earlier when we were talking about King Kong.
Gotta go. The grape. Go ahead.
The last the last Godzilla movie that I saw was the one where he tears up a lot of San Francisco and Oakland.
Yeah, that was the first Americanized version, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That was quick.
Jim
came in. Jim left.
Oh, he is a magician.
That's true. Made himself oh, look, he fixed the light.
Oh, fantastic. Now I can see.
Look at that. We just keep getting more and more improvements in here.
I don't know why you didn't turn them on.
How do I turn them on? It's not
Over by the bomber.
okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's two.
Yeah. Sit down. You got a minute?
I do. I want to talk about the new show you're doing
The
with me.
new show I'm doing with you?
Yep.
Okay. Which one's that?
Oh, we want to talk now?
Oh, well,
Okay.
we can, unless you want to. Maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should do it first and then before somebody else listens to it and steals the idea. Is this the one we talked about yesterday?
Yes.
If I were president?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so we can talk about. I saw you did a little. I haven't watched it, but I saw you did a little blurb.
Well, I was just trying to like a little intro and stuff, but it's not going to be what I'm going to use. I got to do something different. I was trying to kind of do an announcement.
Oh, like
the show is
it's coming soon kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I, instead of, what was the title?
If I were president.
Oh, if I were president.
Yes.
Instead of if I were a president.
When I'm president.
When I'm president.
I like that better.
Yeah.
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 When I'm president.
And
it's going to happen.
Okay. It is?
Yes.
For real?
Yeah. Didn't you know?
Oh my gosh.
Did you ever see that series Designated Survivor?
No.
It's about attacking the White House.
Okay.
And all the top people are killed in a bomb attack. And the guy who's like the treasury or the secretary or secretary of the treasury or something lower down the list, he's next in line to be the president. So all of a sudden he's president because everybody else is dead above him. So all we have to do is kill like 199 million people and you'll be the president.
Wow.
Yeah.
That totally goes
probably
against,
a bad plan.
No, it totally goes against the philosophy of what I wanted to do with the show.
Yeah, that was a joke, folks, not a suggestion. I don't need the FBI coming to my door. So you're going to kill 199 million people? No,
it was a joke.
Yeah, just kidding. Okay.
No, so you know, there's a lot of hate and there's a lot of anger out there. And look at the Baltimore Bridge, the Maryland Bridge.
Yes.
And
Horrible thing.
Yeah. And there are 6 guys on that bridge that went to work that day thinking that they're going to go home and wake up next to their kids and their family and whatnot. And they didn't.
No.
They died. And so we, as a society, we have so much hate. We have so much anger. And we forget that tomorrow isn't a promise.
That's right.
And so when I am president, there are some things that I would like to enact. And the idea behind the show is not to get everybody into an uprising, because I think the overall majority of the people, the silent majority, because it's the 5%, 10% that are getting all the wind.
That's right.
I think they'll all be with me.
Well, we'll find out when you're president.
When I'm president.
Okay, so now how are we going to do this? This is going to be like a little 5-minute segment, 30-minute segment? What do you plan?
It might be like 15 minutes.
20 minutes?
Yeah, so it's going to get broken down into, I'm estimating about 6 parts, and I'm going to actually do some research.
Because it's a mini podcast series.
It's a mini podcast series.
Podcast mini
now,
series, I guess.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but George Washington had warned us about the party system.
I'm not aware of that, but I'm not surprised either.
He did. And he also, they wanted to make him the king.
That's right. I remember. I did know that.
Yes. And so it was the very thing. He was like, no, this is the thing that we fought against. This is what we fought to get our freedom from.
Right.
Why do we want to do this? The man was way before his time.
Yes.
And one of the things he warned us about is the party system. And so we are going to talk about the parties. We are going to talk about term limits. We are going to talk about age limits, because people at 90 years old should not be serving their country.
I hate to say it, but I agree with you.
Yes. And we're also going to talk about how government was meant to serve. And if it becomes a career, you stop serving.
That's true.
So you should go in. It's like jury duty.
Yeah.
You go in, you do your civic duty, and you get out.
Yeah.
And the same thing should happen with government. You go in, you serve your country, maybe 1 or 2 terms, and then you're done. You let somebody else with young, fresh ideas come in.
Yeah.
And take over.
Especially these days when ideas are changing so fast.
Yeah. And it's also, you got these select majorities that are controlling everything, and nothing's ever going to change.
Right.
Because it's their way, and it's been their way since 1980. And, they're going to continue to be that way.
Any good idea gets shot down because it's not their idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they don't want things to change.
Right. Because that means they lose their job.
Like them voting on their own term limits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's going to do that?
Exactly.
The people need to do that.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So that's one of the things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about abolishing the IRS.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
And
I'm not talking about that, by the way, IRS. Just that would be James.
No. And I'm not talking about it in a bad way.
No, I
think there are things. So one of the things, all right, this is a very democratic position, but it's not so democratic. It's also could be Republican. We provide public education through 12th grade.
Right.
So why not create some community colleges that can take them all the way to being a senior in college and getting a bachelor's degree, and allowing people who can't afford it to be able to continue their education. Yeah. And you still have your private colleges where, if people want to really step it up and get a phenomenal degree. And so some of these IRS agents could transition into teaching some of these colleges. And I'm not suggesting that we make every college free.
Right.
What I'm suggesting is
that availability is there.
Yeah. From 12th grade, you have public school, you have private schools. So let these community colleges take it 2 more years. Let the people who can't afford to go get their education so that they can better their lives. And then we move on.
And by bettering their lives, they better the country.
Yeah. And those who can afford it, or those who can get scholarships, or whatever the case may be, can go on to those private colleges.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit about that.
Okay, good.
We are also going to, I have notes. Let's see.
I thought you were getting a text.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I know. We're going to get rid of all this. Like I was talking about the hate right? People digging up things that happened 40 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, but you did something that you don't want people to know 40 years ago.
Friday Shot Day show.
Yeah. You know? And so we're digging up dirt on people. So this person could have led a completely moral, amazing life over the last 10, 20 years and completely changed his ways, but we're going to destroy him because of something he did when he was 21 years old.
Yes. Probably drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's all got to stop. And if we eliminate the party system, everybody's voting for the person, not the party. And when you're in office, you're voting for you, not your party. So we're going to go through some of that stuff.
Yeah.
And let's see, what else did I have in here?
I wish I could, should I add a camera for you?
No.
Okay.
That's okay.
Right.
I'm almost done. The one other thing,
Yeah.
we're going to go back to being innovators. Sorry, little joke. We stopped creating things. We stopped building things. We
It's so
started letting
essential.
everybody else.
Yeah.
We're gonna go back to being innovators. Let's start, being creators again and not just consumers. And that will create jobs, and that those poor IRS agents who are out there losing their jobs can get some other work. And could you imagine if somebody went into Russia who was not a U.S. citizen or a Russian citizen and said, "I'm going to cast my vote. How dare you block me?"
Yeah.
What other country?
That's true.
So I'm sorry, but you have to be here as a legal citizen in order to vote for our president or for our Congress people or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
There is nothing wrong with that.
No.
There isn't another country in the world that would allow somebody outside to come into their country and vote.
Yeah, not a legal citizen. How do you vote?
Right.
I'm with you. I don't get that either.
Yeah.
It's one of the things always like, what?
And you know what? You have to vote.
I do vote.
Somebody not voting for you, somebody not going to your house and helping you fill in your ballot, you have to vote.
Yeah.
Not a harvester.
Not a harvester.
Which is what, isn't that what they call them?
Yep.
Ballot harvesters.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's how it should be, right? I mean,
Yes.
nobody touches I don't want anybody touching my ballot but me.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is all about creating peace and harmony. I mean, it's not a perfect world.
No, there is no such thing.
Nothing's going to always work.
Yeah.
But there is far too much hate.
It's crazy now. It's really nuts.
We got a bombastic candidate running for president, and we have a guy who is way too old.
He's not that much older. Let's
No,
not
they're not.
go there.
Well, no, he's not. But they're both way too old.
Yes, they are. I agree with that completely.
So and we need fresh blood, and we need people who are willing to step up. And nobody's going to step up as long as politics is the way
That's
it
right.
is.
They won't, because they won't let them.
Who wants to do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Would you
Well,
put
some
yourself in
people
a
do.
presidential race?
Well, first of all, I'd fight a shot they show. I couldn't.
Okay.
But,
Yeah.
That might make the best president.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a comic a few years ago on Saturday Night Live. Well, it was 4 years ago. So think about that first. It's 4 years ago. And he was a British comic. And he was talking about how he understands that the United States, it was November, they were going to have an old man contest. And everybody was going to go to these booths and vote for their favorite old man. And I thought, that's pretty damn funny, because that's exactly what we're doing.
Right.
And now it's 4 years later, we're still voting for the same old men.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, it's, I don't know. It just is mind boggling. It's such a simple thing. And if we all treated our lives like tomorrow is not a promise, we would all behave a lot differently.
Maybe I might rob banks. I'll be dead tomorrow. I might.
Okay. All right. All right.
FBI,
Bad statement.
FBI, he's just talking. He's kidding. Or maybe it's something has to do with an R. Scott Bolton book, which is available.
Oh, no.
on
We
Amazon.com.
already did that.
We did it
So
again.
we did. Okay. All right. Well, so anyway, we'll talk about that.
I want you to produce the show with me.
Okay. Well, we got to find a time to do it.
Yes.
So let's do it.
Yeah.
6 episodes,
It'll be
right?
like 6 episodes.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. I want to do it.
Maybe 15 minutes long, 20 minutes long.
Yeah. I'll create the intros and extras,
Okay.
and then we'll find a time and we'll do this. Probably maybe Saturday mornings after this show.
All right.
So
And it's going to be research, so it's not just going to be me pumping air.
I hate research, but yeah,
Well.
we have to, because otherwise, what's the point? It's just you're just another like you said, somebody blowing bad air. So
yes.
Okay, so that's coming soon when I'm president, but it's actually when Jim's president, and we'll be doing that here on Rough Edge FM.
Hey, maybe we could co-president.
Let's do it. Which one would be the vice one? Oh, now we're in trouble.
Well, I thought of the idea, so you'd be
okay.
vice.
That's fair. That works.
Okay. All right.
Vice President Bolton. I can live with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Good. All right. Thanks for coming in, Jim. And we are done here on the Backseat Mogul Show. Stay tuned for the When I'm President show coming soon with James Lantiegne. And that's it. Vice President R. Scott Bolton. I like the sound of that. It's pretty good.
And then what I could be the secretary of I don't know.
You could be secretary.
That's it, secretary of I don't know.
We'll come up with something. Junkyard.
Wait,
junkyard supervisor.
No,
John cannot be in our. I'm sorry.
It's because he's same age as Biden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I'm not.
He's older.
All right, folks. As always, go visit our friends at the Grape. They have the best house of jazz and spirits in Ventura, the longest bar in Ventura, some of the best craft cocktails in Ventura. They will take their time making your cocktails. It's always delicious.
I just had a thought. We have in the past done remotes on this show. Remember, we used to go to Burger King.
Yes.
And we've other places.
They invited us to come down to Burger King, and we did.
And I would love for our show to not only do a remote from the Harbor Cove Cafe, but I would love to do a remote from the Grape.
Grape doesn't work for us because of their open hours. They open at 3. Shows in the morning.
But maybe we could talk them into letting us come in on a Saturday morning once in a great while.
Yeah, well, they would, because they're good friends of ours, and that's one of the reasons that we promote them here. This is not a paid ad, YouTube. Yeah, well, we'll figure it out. So anyway, go to the Grape, get yourself a cocktail, listen to some jazz. They also have music and magic sometimes, and it's really a great place. The folks there are terrific. It's a fun place to hang out. And it's worth checking it out. So we'll see you next week, folks. Thanks for listening.
Hey, go visit your local theaters.
Johnny, you're not on camera. You don't have to wave at it.
Oh. Go visit your local
Brought to you by The Grape, Ventura County's premier jazz venue and cocktail lounge. Located at 2733 East Main Street in Ventura. For menu and music schedule, visit them online at thegrape.club. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.